Starting when I was 10 years old in 1984, I collected Mad Magazine for a few years and got a few more issues as an adult. Let me show you my collection. This is a reprint of the first issue, and as you can see, it is a comic book. It was put out by William Gaines Company, EC. That is the company that put out all the horror comics, and I believe they were the most successful comic company around in the early 50s. This was their one humor comic, and when Frederick Wortham put out his book, Seduction of the Innocent, which led to the implementation of the Comics Code Authority, all of those horror comics went away, and he changed Mad into a magazine format to get around that, and that kept him from going out of business. But here's issue 1. Here's the oldest issue I have that's not a reprint. This is from April 1956. It is issue 27. I found this at a comic book convention in an old box of back issues. Pretty cheap. Issue 157 from 1973. I picked this up when I was making my Planet of the Apes video for here on YouTube. Another issue I got relatively recently. This is January 1974. Inside here it has a parody of the TV series Kung Fu with David Carradine. This is the issue that came out the month I was born, April of 74, issue 166. Now here's some back issues I bought as a kid in the 80s off of other kids in school. Once I started to collect, I put the feelers out and found out who had issues that I didn't have, and I bought them from them. Here's one from March of 1977, and another one, June from 1978, issue 199. And issue 212 from January of 1980. I remember getting this and reading the parody of the movie Alien. And when I actually got to watch the film years later, when I was old enough to watch a rated R film, I really thought that the chestburster alien was going to be Kermit the Frog. Let's take a look. There it is. Issue 232 from July of 1982. I bought this when I was going to meet William Catt so I could get the greatest American hero to sign it to me. 236 from January of 83, E.T. You know, I have a big E.T. collection, as I've shown in other videos. 237 from March of 83, 241, September of 83, issue 242 from October of 1983. My friend Mike had this, and he showed it to me after I showed him the first issue I got, and I really wanted one of these. It took me all the way until I was an adult to get this copy. This is the one I had. This was my first issue, March of 1984, issue 245. Now I was trying to get every issue as I saw them. So 249, September of 84, 250, October of 84, 252, January of 85, 253, March of 85, The Karate Kid, 255, June of 85, 257, September of 85. Want to see the back cover? 259, December of 85, 260, January of 86, 261, March of 86, 263, June of 86, 264, July of 86, 265, September of 86, 266, October of 86, 267, December of 86, 268, January of 87. I probably still hadn't seen either of the Aliens films at this point. The Karate Kid! 269, March of 87. 271, June of 87. 273, September of 87. 274, October of 87. Look, it's Perseus. There was no Clash of the Titans parody in Mad Magazine. 276, January of 88. 277, March of 88. 278, April of 88. This is the month I turned 14. 279, June of 88. And 280, July of 88. This was the final issue I got as a kid. But during that run, I was also getting these big, thicker collections. Mad Super Special from Spring of 84, the Super Special from Summer of 84, the Super Special from Spring of 85, Super Special from Fall of 85, Super Special from Summer of 86, and the Super Special from Fall of 86. Then in June of 2009, I saw this come out. I was like, oh my gosh, Mad Magazine is still going, and it's issue 500. I gotta get this. And in a moment of weakness in April of 2011, I grabbed this one. Then in April of 2018, the month I turned 44, I saw this, the landmark final issue, issue 550, and it all came to an end, 1952 through 2018. Well, at least for a few months, because by June of 2018, they put out a new issue number 1. I saw that and I had to pick that one up. And it's been going ever since. It doesn't come out every month anymore, and most of of the insides are reprints. And here's the new issue 32 from August of 2023, the tribute to Al Jaffe, who had done all of the fold-in back covers of every issue for its entire run. Look, 1921 to 2023, he lived to 102 years old. And here's the latest new issue I've seen, issue 39, October of 2024. E.T. Quisp! And of course, Kermit the Frog. And there's this big, thick collected edition I got in February of 2015. And in October of 2016, they put out this big collection of Spy vs. Spy. I was a big fan of them in the 80s. I got their board game for Christmas one year. And this Star Wars spoof collection from February of 2018. And another one from August of 2018. Star Wars and other sci-fi and fantasy. And a third one from March of 2020. More Star Wars spoofs. And in February of 2021, I got this Christmas collection. It says a reissue of a special edition. Well, this one is still sitting on the shelves at Publix as we speak here in Christmas of 2024. They must reissue this every single year. Hey, it's the 70th anniversary issue, December of 2022, number 28. Oh, I guess this is out of order because I think I showed issue 39 earlier. October of 2023, we have this collection of spoofs of the 80s, E.T. And then at Free Comic Book Day this year in 2024, they put out this one that's comic book sized again. But that's not all. Also in the 80s, I went to the flea market and started to find these Al Jaffe paperback books, snappy answers to stupid questions. And I took them to school and found out that my friend Richie Garcia was also buying these at the flea market. And as an adult, I got this Al Jaffe hardcover book. This Spy vs. Spy complete case book. This is every single Spy vs. Spy thing ever, all in one collection. It's the board game I had! The art of Harvey Kurtz. He did a lot of the Mad Magazine artwork in the early days. He did that cover of that earliest issue I have that I showed you from 1956. And this giant hardcover book celebrating the 60th anniversary of Mad Magazine. But I wasn't just getting Mad Magazine, because right after I got that first issue in 1984, I saw Cracked Magazine and started collecting that simultaneously. And I got a few more as an adult, like this reprint of issue 1 from 1958. And here's the oldest non-reprint issue I have. This is number 89 from 1970. I picked this up in a box at a comic book convention as an adult. Here's some more I got as an adult. Issue 112 from 1973 with David Carradine's Kung Fu. 119 from September of 74, again, Kung Fu. 123 from March of 75. I got this when I was doing that Planet of the Apes video. 146, November of 77, Star Wars. 147, December of 77, Star Wars 2. 148, January of 1978, look, Star Wars again. 149, March of 78, yep, Star Wars. 152, August of 78, Star Wars. And 181, October of 1981. Again, I bought this when I was going to meet William Catt, and I got it signed again by the greatest American hero. And that takes us to the very first issue I got as a kid. This is issue 205 from August of 1984. And just like Mad, I tried getting every issue as I saw them. October of 84, issue 207. Issue 208, November of 84. 209, January of 85. 212, July of 85. 216, November of 85. And 224 from November of 86 was the final issue I ever got as a kid. I used to draw Nanny Dickering all the time. And I remember in 1986, I had some friends over from middle school and showed them my Nanny Dickering drawings. This is issue 300 from 1995. I got this not when it was new. I got it a few years ago when I started my Brady Bunch podcast. And same with this. This is a collected edition. This one's from 20 years earlier, 1975. It also has a Brady Bunch parody in it, but from the actual show. That other issue was a parody of the movie that had just come out. But as a kid in that first year of getting them, I was able to find this super cracked from fall of 84. So this is another childhood issue. And then maybe 10 years ago, in the mid-2010s at some point, I went to a convention. They had a big table set up for people that worked at Cracked Magazine. Of course, they worked at it like decades after I stopped collecting them, so I don't know what it was, but they had old back issues on their table because Cracked Magazine doesn't exist anymore. And I got this really old one from the spring of 2000. I got it because it said Star Wars, and I just wanted to get something from them, but still. Cracked ran 365 issues, 1958 to 2004, and then it was over with. In 2005, it became Cracked.com, which was a website I used to visit every single day when I used to have a series of bookmarks of websites that I had to check every day or multiple times a day. But if you're old like me, you remember the big anthrax scare when anthrax was being mailed to people? Well, a letter with anthrax was actually mailed to the offices of Cracked Magazine, and it killed an employee, and they were forced to destroy their entire archive of photographic prints of all of their issues up to the year 2001. So they can't reprint any of the old Cracked magazines. They don't exist anymore. Now, after Cracked had just become a website, they had this hardcover book that came out, and I bought this. Now, here's something I didn't know about as a kid. Marvel also had a comedy magazine. We'll start here, Not Brand Echh. I actually did know about this in the 80s. These are comics from the 60s, so I knew about it 20 years later. I've got issue 8 and issue 12. The reason why I show these is because they feature the mascot character Forbush Man. And here's a newer comic, Not Brand Echh, Marvel Legacy Forbush Man. Reason why I show these is because Marvel put out this crazy comic, issue 1 of 3 from 1973. It just reprinted stuff from the Not Brand Echh comics from the late 60s. You can see Forbush Man. So you're asking why? Well, the next year, in 1974, they put out Crazy Magazine to compete with Mad Magazine and Cracked Magazine. And as you can see here, Kung Fu, David Carradine. This is the first of 94 issues that would run all the way until 1983. I also have issue 7 from October of 1974. Again, Kung Fu. Now, I got this comic in the late 80s. This is from 1983, so I got it in a back issue box. Obnoxio the Clown versus the X-Men. Obnoxio the Clown became the new mascot to replace Forbush Man when they brought Crazy back as a comic book. In 2019, it only lasted 1 issue, but they made 2 variant covers for it. The Revenge of Obnoxio. But that's it. That's my collection. Check out the full stack. Here's all of them bagged and boarded in the box. Can't forget the books. Woo! And lastly, the first issue of each. Hey, click the like on this video, make a comment below, and subscribe. See ya!